What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden, and welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly, where we take a deeper dive into the Chicago Bulls' previous week out in the West, discuss the positives and the negatives, the results of these games, and ultimately talk about what's to come as we start to kind of end that West Coast trip, move back to Chicago, and finish out the rest of our season, which is going to be quite an interesting ride. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I would say this is a week of pure happiness. I'm happy. I am a happy Bulls fan this week. We can talk about fight, sure, there's always fight. The Bulls continue to fight, but the fact that we went out to the West and we proved that we belong in this league, we proved that we can compete with any team, no matter how good or how bad they may be, that is where I personally think the happiness comes from. Just to know that any given night, when I turn on, I guess, the NBA League Pass, and watch a Chicago Bulls game, I know that I'm going to get a team that's going to fight to the bitter end more times than not. Much more times than not. That's where my happiness comes from, ladies and gentlemen. So strap in, let's talk about Bulls Weekly. But before we get any further, if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about these Chicago Bulls, their previous week and upcoming week ahead. How many games do we have this week? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 games to look forward to this week. The Bulls went 3-1. Again, I know we got a game in a couple of hours' time. I'm not going to count that towards this Bulls Weekly because it is going to be on a Tuesday for me and a Monday for you guys. But we kicked off this week against the Utah Jazz and we won this one 111-97. It wasn't the most amazing, spectacular game for the Chicago Bulls, but when it's all said and done, we did what we were supposed to do. The Jazz had big problems and the Bulls exploited them massively, specifically with points in the paint, specifically just dominating in a lot of other ways, winning a lot of key areas. The Jazz didn't come out to play today and the Bulls took advantage of it. The next one was against the Phoenix Suns. We don't tend to play well against Phoenix at all. And although I would say we played well in this one, we still did lose. We lost this one 127-121. I put this game down to the fact that the Phoenix Suns have a lot of great isolation plays and have a lot of great bucket getters. And 2 of them in that game that really shined was Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And those 2 guys took us to school. Yes, they had more assists and all that sort of stuff. The stats were definitely in their side in that area. But when it all came down to it, we don't necessarily have great isolation defenders. We don't have great one-on-one defenders. We're always sending help for those guys. And in the end, it just let us down. We just didn't really have enough to kind of beat that type of team. And that's, yeah, we lost because of it. But still, tremendous fight. Can't really complain too much about that result. We move over to the next one. A game on the second night of a back-to-back. A game I really wanted to win. A game that I was desperate to see the Bulls kind of, make a statement in. And they did so. We played the Sacramento Kings. And we won this one 128-116. A really positive result for the Chicago Bulls, facing both Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, 2 former Bulls players. And, just to show the message, not only to them, because, I'm sure they're very happy about where the Bulls are at the moment, even in Sacramento. But just to show the rest of the world, they maybe had some fears, maybe had some worries about those trades individually. Look, I had some fears and worries. I was very upset when we traded Zach LaVine, and I wasn't necessarily too keen on who we got back. I'll admit that. I think it's there. I made videos about it. I can't take it back now. But yeah, with all that being said, it's just to show those guys, show Bulls fans, maybe even show Sacramento fans that we will just be fine. We'll be fine. We're heading in the right direction. And I really believe that. And that is a very positive thing to kind of have under your repertoire, under your belt. And that's where my happiness continues. And then, of course, the game against the LA Lakers where we won on a monster run. We won this one 146-115. This team went absolutely berserk in LA. And look, it's a statement game. Again, just to continue to show the rest of the world, and this time it was to a larger audience, whether it's Lakers fans, Luka fans, LeBron fans, just in general, any fans right now that are tuning into Lakers games because they obviously are very excited about what the Lakers are doing at the moment. It's to show those fans that the Bulls are here. And the Bulls are going to fight each and every single game. And you should keep your eye on the Bulls and where their future may be. That is a big positive. It's a big positive to get fans to recognize your team. Fans that previously did not recognize your team. I cannot believe the amount of people, and I'm talking about just casual NBA fans, not people from my channel or comment sections or anything like that. Just casual fans, whether it's at work or in my social group, my friends, people asking about Bulls players. I can't remember the last time that happened. I mean, sure, everybody knows DeRozan and Levine when they were there, but people asking about Matas Bazelis, people asking about Josh Giddey, people asking about even Patrick Williams. Like, it's incredible, and I'm very happy about that. So, yeah, that's what this game in LA meant. And I'm very happy that we got the job done in the end. And look, we verse LA very soon again. Let's hope we could keep up that level of momentum, because trust me, there's going to be a large audience watching the game in Chicago as well. So with that being said, let's take a look at the awards. We'll cancel the must improve once again. This Bulls team was too good to give a must improve of the week. We'll start off with the defensive player of the week, and I know this might be a little bit biased based on the last performance against the Lakers, but I think the defensive player of the week should go to Patrick Williams. He had a lot of responsibility in that Lakers team, and sure, I think this Bulls team in general were quite average defensively this time around. There were a lot of high-scoring games in there that the Bulls definitely participated in. Thankfully, our offense is on another level as well, but I personally think when you're guarding LeBron James, Luka Doncic, at certain points Austin Reeves, and you're guarding the best players each and every single night, even off the bench, that's a lot to be proud of as a Bulls team. I could give it to Matas Bazelis as well if you like. I think he had a very strong output as well. But for me, it is Patrick Williams this week. My sixth man of the week, you know what? I don't believe I'm going to say this. It's Dalen Terry. And I'm not saying that because I think Dalen Terry's a bad player, but he didn't really get much minutes. He hasn't really got much minutes. So the fact that he's come in this week, had 3 good games out of 4. I think one game he had 0 points, but 3 out of 4 good games. He has shown tremendous hustle. He has shown an ability to finish around the rim. He's been great in transition, and he has been a difference maker in this team. So much so that I think he's been easily our best sixth man, our best bench player. Congratulations to Dalen Terry. And my player of the week, look, it is easy to give it to Josh Giddey, but he only played half the trip, and one of the games he came off the bench as well. I think it is Kobe White's time to get the player of the week. He's had 12 straight 20-plus point games. I think he had a 44-point game in one of them this week. Massive difference maker, highly efficient, and I'm very happy with what he's been producing, and let's hope it continues to the month of April and the playing tournament, because we're going to need a bucket getter in those type of games as well. And we've seen from last season, he can score big in a playing tournament game. Let's hope that can continue. So, with all that being said, what's next for the Chicago Bulls? As I mentioned, we have to close out that West Coast trip, and we do it against the Denver Nuggets. I mean, talk about a team that, in my opinion, is going to be a tough one to beat. Nikola Jokic and the gang, it's a tough team. Probably the toughest team that we do have to face. I mean, with the Lakers, there was a lot of returning guys from injuries, so I wouldn't necessarily say they were the toughest team that we faced throughout the West Coast trip. I think that stature belongs to the Denver Nuggets. They're a very good team. They play like a team. They look like a team. They're a dangerous team. So, yeah, we should be in for our monies there. We'll wait and see if we can get the job done. But what a tremendous way to close out the West Coast trip if we could get a victory there. Saying we walked out of the West beating the Kings, who were plus 500, the Lakers, who were in the 3rd seed, and the Denver Nuggets, who were in the 2nd seed. I mean, that's pretty outstanding, considering this Bulls team is in the play-in tournament spot. Moving on. We verse the LA Lakers again, but this time it is in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bulls return home, and I hope that they really missed being in Chicago, because I have seen in this season alone, when the Bulls return to Chicago, sometimes they don't play to their level. They do stink up the joint. Now, I think this is a different team than when that last happened. With all that being said, though, we should bring our A game on our return to Chicago. And LA, considering how recent that game was, they want to come in with an element of revenge to their name. They're not going to come in and roll over for us. They're going to look for revenge. We need to be up for that game. And then the last game is against the Dallas Mavericks. I, for the life of me, cannot tell you what Dallas Mavericks team is going to be there. I've heard a couple of their guys are in the G League. I've heard a couple of guys could be ready to go. I don't know. I know Kyrie Irving won't be there. Hopefully he gets well soon. But other than that, I ain't got a clue. That is a team we probably should be beating. All that being said, if a couple of guys return like an AD, makes the game 10 times harder, and we'll figure it out from there. But I expect a Bulls victory in that one. What do you guys think? Do you think we could go positive this week? Only 3 games? I'll let you guys decide. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.